So watch me transform this beauty from start to finish. If you're new to my channel, this is Cynthia Makeover and you're highly welcome. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much and God bless you. So please do not forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. So first thing first is to clean up the face in order to remove dirt and oil on the face. The next thing, I hydrated the skin. After hydrating the skin, you dry it up. Make sure it dries properly into the skin before you moisturize. So after drying, next thing is to moisturize. I'm going to be using my Cetaphil moisturizer to moisturize the face very well. So you can use any other good moisturizer on the face, but I use Cetaphil most of the time. So after applying the moisturizer, make sure you dry it properly into the skin before you prime. So I'm going to be using this Gentle Dove mattifying primer and apply it on her T-zone area because she has a combination skin. So I'm only applying this mattifying primer on the oily areas on her face. So after applying the mattifying primer, I'm going to let it dry. If you look very well, you'll notice that the places I applied it are already dried. So you need to let it dry. After that, I'm going to be locking it up, like locking the skin prep with the same Kiss Beauty spray. Did I let it dry a little into the skin? After which, I went ahead with my foundation. I'm going to be using this Avour foundation in the shade 05. I'm using my flat brush to apply it all over her face before blending. So before I start blending, I used to go back with the setting spray for easy blending, that this setting spray would help me blend in the foundation very well. Then I used my damp beauty sponge to blend. So I had to adjust the band on her hair in order to apply foundation on this area. So after blending in the foundation, next thing, I'm going to be locking it up with the same spray. Then this would help the foundation not to move. Then I went ahead to dry it up before I contoured her face. So to contour the face, I'm going to be using this Flawless Ivy Concealer. I'm going to be leaving the shade in my description box. So I'm just going to use it to contour the face. So next, I'm going to be using this Flawless Ivy Concealer. I'm going to be leaving the shade in my description box. I'm just going to use it to highlight the face. So if you highlighted the face, don't put too much concealer. A little goes a long way, trust me. So after applying the concealer, I'm going to be blending in the concealer with my beauty sponge. So I'm blending the concealer on the highlighted area. So after blending, I'm going to be applying cream blush. So I'm just gonna mix these shades from my Blossom lip palette and apply it above her contour and a little bit on the tip of her nose. After which, I used my beauty sponge to blend. So after blending, I'm going to be contouring the nose with the same concealer I used to contour the face. So I added some concealer here and here before blending. Then I used my beauty sponge to blend. So next is to set the concealer on the highlighted areas. I'm going to be using my Sasha Buttercup setting powder. But before setting, I went back using my beauty sponge to blend the areas underneath her eyes to avoid creasing. So next is to set. So while setting, do not pack too much setting powder. Take it one step at a time. So after setting the face, next is to set the rest of her face. I'm going to be using my Becharm powder palette. So I'm just going to take this shade here to set the rest of her face. So for low light contouring, which is dry contour, I'm going to be using this shade to set the cream contour I applied earlier. So I'm using the same shade to contour her nose. So for blush, powdery blush, I'm going to be using my Tara blush palette. So I'm just gonna use this shade here and apply it on my cheeks. So next I'm going to be applying this shade from the same powder palette to blend the areas I highlighted. After which I went back with my powder brush to blend everything together. So next I'm going to be setting the face. This would help to reduce the brightness on the face. After setting, I'm going to dry it up before I bake the face. So make sure it dries up into the skin. So can you see how flawless it looks? So I'm going to be using the same setting powder I used to set the face to bake the face. So I went back with that same brush I used to contour the face. I went back using that brush to blend the areas I contoured. So moving on to the brows, I'm going to be using my spoolie brush to brush her brows first. Then I went ahead using my brow tone to lay the hair nicely. So next is to outline her brows with my carrot gel liner and my angled brush, following the shape of her brows. So next I'm going to be highlighting the brows with the same concealer I used to highlight the face. after highlighting, I blended it immediately. So to highlight the top of her brows, I used the foundation I used on her face to highlight the top of her brows. So next I'm going to be setting the concealer with this shade from the same powder palette. So next I'm going to be applying this shade on the inner corner of her lid. Moving on to the eyes, I'm going to be using my Viange eyeshadow base to prime her lid. So for eyeshadow, I'm going to be using this palette. I'm just going to take this shade here and apply it on the outer corner of her lid, then blending it towards the inner corner of her lid. So next I'm going to be applying this shade here on the inner corner of her lid. So I went back applying this color, so I'm just gonna use it to blend everything together. So next I'm going to be using this shade from my Blossom eyeshadow palette and apply it on the inner corner of her lid. So next I'm going to be using this blending brush to blend. So after that I'm going to be using this MK pigment and apply it on the inner corner of her lid. But before then I applied a little setting powder underneath her eyes to avoid fallout from the eyes. So next I'm going to be applying this dark shade from my Blossom eyeshadow palette and apply it on the outer corner of her lid. Then I used another blending brush to blend everything to avoid harsh lines. So next I added a little setting powder on the outer corner of her lid to define the lid. So next I'm going to be using my angled brush to line her upper lash line with my Carrot gel liner. So after that, I went back with the same powder brush, the Tara blush. I'm just gonna apply more blush on her cheeks. Then I went back with that contour brush to blend again. So moving on to the lip, I'm going to be using my Blossom lip palette. I'm just going to take this shade here to outline her lip. After that, I'm going to be using this shade, this pink shade in the middle, just to give it some color. So after that, I added a little bit of this nude in the middle, just to brighten up. So I added a little gloss on her lip. So I went back using that contour brush to blend again. So after that, I used my powder brush to blend everything together. So next I'm going to be using this brush to dust off the excess powder on her face. Then I went back using my powder brush to blend everything together. So after blending, I'm going to be setting the face with my Kiss Beauty Fix Spray. So after setting the face, I allowed it to dry properly into the skin before I went ahead with this Maver's highlighter. I'm just gonna apply it on the places I want the face to glow. So next I'm going to be using my Zaron mascara on her lower lashes. So you all know I didn't wear her lashes because she's already putting on lashes. So I tried using this wipe to take off the dust on her lashes. So after that, I'm going to be using this TM Essential Always Glow. I'm just going to apply it on the areas I want the face to glow. So I'm applying it mostly on the places I highlighted, like I applied highlighter. So I went back using that brow time to lay the brows nicely again. So I really wasn't feeling the lip. I had to add this newborn nude shade in the middle just to brighten up the lip. So lastly, I'm going to be setting the face with the same Kiss Beauty spray. After that, I'm going to let our face dry into the skin. And this is the finished look, guys. Yeah. So if you liked and enjoyed this tutorial, please hit the like button. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking. Thank you for always coming back. Please do not forget to like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. I will see you all in my next video. Bye, guys.